the disc never came back.
Oh,
so
no.
fuck all you.
Dude, no, seriously though, actually, remember I told you I posted one of our things to a club's page, a new club that's...
Yeah. I think
what did
you
the guy
should post
say?
another one that's like, what the fuck is this?
No, he
awful.
said, here's what he said. He said, this is terrible. What was so funny about that is I'm like, well, first of all, if you really thought it was and you were a decent human being, you just wouldn't have said anything. The only reason you'd say something is because you're a total piece of shit. That's
They don't have anything to do out there. So.
Well, apparently they got disc golf.
They sit around and they're like, I'm tired of reading the Bible. I'm going to go and bitch about someone having fun.
Yeah, no, well, that's probably not far off. That chair is squeaky as fuck. You should probably choose a different one. I was going to relate that to how this sport's really fucking weird when you try to reach out to people. That was the whole point of the podcast. I thought that this would start conversations. I was anticipating us getting like a ton of feedback, and we've had no emails, zero comments about anything of any of the subjects we're talking about. Nobody's chimed in and said like, hey, this is a fact you didn't get right, or you didn't pronounce this guy's name, like anything, like even the tiniest thing. Nobody has said a fucking word. It's a really weird fucking community. And just like that club, that Bible thumping club you were just talking about, and I wasn't even talking about them. I'm talking about I think it's another club out in the Tri-Cities area.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah. I'm sure there are tons of nice guys, but not the ones I talk to. They were total dicks. And I'm sure they're fucking their own faces right now, and that's good for them. But I was anticipating feedback, and we really didn't get any. And I just think that's really weird. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know. How long do you have to do something before you start to get the people involved and start to get feedback? Like
even one. Like, we haven't had a single email.
Well,
like, I put it out there. I'm like, here's our email, fingersmokediscs@gmail.com. I go look at the email, like, after the podcast is posted, nothing. And I'm like, that's crazy, because I just said, hey, fuck you, you. And
yeah, no, totally.
And they're just like, yeah, that's accurate.
Like, what
no comment.
We got to start naming names on here.
Well, we'll
do some of that today. We'll start naming names and see what happens.
Well, I want to hear all about your experience volunteering at the Beaver State Fling, because I'm sure you got some fucking...
I got some fun stories, for sure.
Cool stuff to talk about. But first and foremost, the story that refuses to die.
Oh, can I guess what it is?
Please.
Is this about our new sponsor, or is this about the Firebird?
It's always about the Firebird.
God damn it.
No, I wanted it to go away too. But just to recap for listeners. Actually, no, you guys already know. So here's what happened. Friday night, I got a phone call at 7:30 from a volunteer at the Beaver State Fling, and he told me that he had found my stolen Firebird on Hole 2 East. And his story, I recorded it right after I hung up the phone because I wanted to make sure I had exactly what he said, word for word.
Nice.
I pulled a James Comey. It totally worked because...
Yeah, no, write your thoughts down.
Right. So not my thoughts. Important. What he said, word for word, was he said Macbeth asked him to go get a disc that he had lost on Hole 2. And he said he was looking for it for a long time, and in the process, he said he found, quote, 6 or 7 other discs, including my Firebird.
Nice.
So... here's the thing. Up until now, I've had nothing to go on. Like, if I wanted a Scooby-Doo mystery, I didn't have anything. Nothing, right? I mean, it was all speculation. Now I have something. And with a tiny bit of evidence...
the trail
becomes
leads to Milo.
Exactly. Well, the process of elimination can begin. So I got one fact. One thing I know for sure. 100% fact. Is an AM player didn't lose my disc during the event because the disc was found Friday. That might not sound significant now.
Oh, no.
But later down the road...
I'm picking up what you're putting
you
down.
can eliminate that. Like, oh, so-and-so lost it. No, he didn't, because it couldn't have been lost. Just one little thing. So that's 100%. I'm 95% sure that the person who stole my disc... and hear me out. This is why that 5% wavers and why my confidence is so high.
Okay.
3 things tell me that the person who stole my disc is a regular golfer to that community. That was my first argument, and I had no way to prove it, and I believe I have some evidence that suggests that now. Evidence number 1, my disc goes missing from a tournament from that club at my home course and turns up at a tournament at their home course. Could be a total fucking coincidence. Maybe the guy doesn't play golf with these people, but I have a little bit of evidence to suggest that he's a regular, that he's amongst them. Mm-hmm. Second piece of evidence, where it was found. You don't flick a Firebird on hole 2, Milo, unless you know what the fuck you're doing. Seriously, you know what I'm saying. The dude knew how to sidearm, where to sidearm, and what to sidearm, which tells me he plays a lot of golf. That's a profile. And the profile I'm saying points to this dude plays golf with these people all the time.
Interesting.
It is interesting. The third piece of evidence that I'm, I would say, 60% sure of is that the dude was playing at the Beaver State Fling. My just gut guess was that the disc was lost during a warm-up round. Because that guy said it looked like it had been in there for a while, but the disc doesn't look like it to me. Did he clean it off or something?
I suspect. Well, I actually saw the disc, on the way home. Guy gave it to me to give to you.
Right.
And he said it looked like that your name had been, somebody tried to remove it.
Oh, they tried. Yeah, dude, that thing was triple inked.
Yeah.
That shit's never going to come off.
Yeah.
Like, you could black that out with a Sharpie and hold it in the right light, and you will see my name.
Yeah, no, for sure.
The dude probably figured that out when he was trying to get rid of it, and that's why he never inked it himself. Because he'd forever be linked to that fucking infamous disc.
Yeah.
So
well,
anyway.
It found its rightful home.
It did. So this is totally the end of it. Some vindication.
So the guy that found the disc is part of that community. So, I mean,
Well, see, I'm not trying to say
Is that some of the vindication you're talking about?
No, the vindication is just that when I put that video out, I said in that video, this dude's among you. Keep your eye out for my disc. And I didn't get any feedback. Nobody caught their eye out for it. So somebody stood right next to him while he threw that and were completely oblivious to look over and be like, hey, I remember somebody was talking about a stolen Firebird. Hey, I didn't know you threw Firebirds. Could I see that? You know what I mean? If the community came together and they were aware, but instead they weren't. They're like, shit gets stolen. Fuck it. Move on. And I was trying to say, no, dude, share my outrage. Let's be aware. And that's what I said in that video. I'm like, keep your eye out for that dude. Nobody did. And he was still there, even at their national tour event. I'm just saying, they have a piece of shit among them. They should all come together and find out who he is. And if they would fucking talk to each other, they would.
Homeboys seem to think that somebody maybe lost it at the Slosh event.
Right, but see,
that sort of makes sense to me too. Just because if it looked like it'd been there for a while or something, but how long is something gonna sit at Milo unnoticed?
Yeah,
there's a lot of traffic going through there. People playing
that's golf. An interesting point too. I don't know when it was lost, but I know that you don't play Milo. Like the randomness of somebody playing the Stumptown Slosh at Bonneville and then playing Milo and not being a local, the odds are just off the chart. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a total coincidence. The dude's actually from, Northern California, and he's just traveling through, and he just happened to play this tournament, and then just happened to go play their course. That's the end of the Firebird story. I'm done.
No, it's not.
What do you mean? There's more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Homeboy went back and listened to some old episodes and reminded me that you said that you would caddy for him.
That was on my video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? Yeah, I know. He called me and said caddy for him in Utah. I can't go to Utah.
You said anywhere, I'm pretty sure.
I didn't, actually. And you know what? I don't know where that video is, but I distinctly remember being specific about where I would caddy.
Okay, well, I'll let you guys work that out. That's not my problem.
That's fine. Yeah, I would still... I'd totally do it.
You should.
Of course I would.
It's a cool
but
guy.
I can't go to Utah, man. That's fucking bullshit.
I thought he was a jerk first few times I met him, and then you told me he was okay, and then this time he was sort of like softened up a little bit.
He seemed nice enough. I mean, he's nice enough to call me and tell me he found my disc. It was funny when I told him on the phone, I was like, that disc has a little history behind it. He's like, oh yeah, I know a whole story.
Yeah. Yep. People know about the disc.
Well, now they know that the dude's out there. He has not been caught. I offered to volunteer for the Beaver State Fling, but I never got an answer.
Well, you're supposed to sign up on some website bullshit. Like you're signing up for the tournament, but you just say when you can be there, and there's all this stuff.
Yeah, well, he could have just told me to do that. I know they needed volunteers.
They did.
Yeah, so I just took it as he doesn't want me there specifically.
I don't think it's like that.
Okay. Well, I am, pretty important, dude.
You are. We missed you. Everyone missed you.
Yeah, I bet. So you volunteered at the Beaver Wide Open. Mm-hmm. You said you got to hold the scoreboard for the lead card of the ladies.
Yep.
Why don't you
final round of the pro women.
Oh, the final round. That's right.
Final round.
So did you get to witness the playoff too?
I did.
Nice.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Well, you said Paige her second throw was long?
Yeah, it went long. It went up the hill, and she had like some branches in her way and stuff, but she smashed the chains. It just fell out.
For birdie, right? Mm-hmm. Those ladies just birdie that shit. Mm-hmm. That's fucking insane.
It might have been for par, actually. I can't remember exactly.
That's a big drive. To get out into the open, to get up and down, to get past that tree. It's a tunnel. There's no air. What's that?
Yeah.
There's no air, right? Like it's a tunnel. You gotta really smoke one down that cut.
Seriously.
Yeah, to get it out past that big tree.
Yeah.
And get into the grass.
In the first round, they threw like rollers and stuff.
On that hole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
With an OB in play, right? You're gonna throw a roller with OB on the left?
Yep.
Okay. Well,
yeah. They must practice or something.
Nah, I don't think you're allowed to practice before you compete.
If you're pro,
yeah,
you just stop practicing.
No, they handcuff you, dude.
So that you can't.
You can't play, dude. And like if you attempt to throw, they'll make you play your round in a straight jacket.
They'll handcuff you to an amateur.
So, are you gonna tell us about your experience?
The highlights
of
my day.
Yeah, well, tell us about the scorecard or the scoreboard carrying.
Oh, yeah, the scoreboard carrying, yeah. So
you're out there for like 4.5 hours holding us
in the rain and wind, and I didn't have an umbrella, and I wasn't really dressed for it either, so I was like a drowned rat out there.
It was barely raining.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The joke that I thought was funny was I looked at someone and said, this PDGA umbrella sucks. And nobody laughed.
Well,
I thought it was pretty good.
Dude, it's really hard to get people to laugh at disc golf tournaments.
Everyone's so serious out there.
So
like they're playing
serious.
for thousands of dollars or something.
Oh, yeah. So, I remember the first tournament I played, I told you this. The guy was like adding up the scorecard, and we were all talking about that movie where Steve Martin has the eye patch and the cork on the fork.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yeah. And we're like laughing and joking. The guy's all, could you guys shut the fuck up? I'm trying to add the scorecard. That was my first tournament.
Shit.
And I was like, oh shit. That was when I realized these guys are just fucking hard asses.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to laugh right now. But I do.
Yeah, at one point, when I was directing traffic, I had some AM guy from really far away tell me, he's all, yay, stand still. And I looked over and he's talking to me, and all I was doing was taking a drink of my coffee like 100 feet away.
Wait, he was throwing?
He was putting. And I was like out in the road taking a drink of my coffee, and he told me to quit moving.
That is just stupid.
So anyway,
no, hold on. I'm sorry. I don't care.
Yeah, the AMs are like even more ridiculous than the pros.
Totally. Anybody who's ever played golf with me knows I'm a serious player. I take it very seriously, and I play by all the rules, and I'm a sportsman. But that's a line.
Right.
A guy taking a drink of coffee 100 feet away. Come on. Pull those panties off, man. Saddle up. Oh, God, not sexist. Someone's going to flag me on that. I'm going to have to cut that out. I got to think of something without offending people. Fuck it. Quit acting like a bitch and putt.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Where was it? What do you remember? Like, what basket and where you were?
It was Genius Hole. It was right at the entrance of the park where you turn in there. Right there.
Genius Hole. He was putting at the Genius Hole basket?
No, across the street from the Genius Hole, on both sides of the street, there's baskets. Like, there's the side of the street that the Genius Hole is on, and then on the other side, it like splits the road tees right there.
Oh, so you're talking about the hole before Genius? You're talking about hole 8?
Yeah.
Hole 8.
But there's the one
the
across
roller
the
hole.
Street from that. The one that goes uphill.
That's the par 4, yeah.
Par
yeah,
4.
Yeah, that'd be hole...
hole.
6, I think.
It's all up in the trees right there.
7, hole 7.
Yeah. So there was a bunch of trees between us. There was just a little tiny hole, and you could just see me in the background.
Dude was putting at hole 7.
I was fucking him up.
Whatever.
Yeah, totally.
That's over the top.
So I was thinking something funny. So at one point, I was standing, like, it had cleared out for some reason, and there wasn't really a lot of people around. And should I say their names?
It's up to you.
So one of the pro chicks was standing next to
you're talking about the pros?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's public knowledge.
All right, cool.
You can watch videos of this. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, this isn't going to be on video, trust me.
Well, I mean, never
So everyone walks away there's like a lull, and we're waiting for the next, the card in front of, I don't know what the hell we're waiting for.
Were you fucking high?
Not
totally.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, how could you not know? It doesn't matter. Who cares?
There's so much going on.
Okay, for sure. Yeah.
Anyway, like nobody's at the tee box, and they're kind of like me and Paige Pierce is standing on the other side of this like little pop-up thing. And you know how rain collects on the sides of those things?
Which hole was this? Just so I can get a visual in my head. I don't remember. You can't remember it all?
No, it was on the west course. It was like maybe hole 11 or 12.
You were on west, right? The final. So you say you're on hole 10 west.
Hole 10 west, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm on hole 10 west, and there's like a lull, and I don't really nobody's teeing off for some reason at the moment.
But you don't see anybody putting.
I don't see anybody putting. And maybe they were. I don't know. They must have been.
I'm telling you, you were high.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so, but maybe. So anyway, it's just I'm standing on one side of the pop-up, and Paige Pierce is standing on the other side of the pop-up, and she's looking the other direction, and I have to take a piss super bad.
Great spot because you got the bushy area.
On my left.
Yeah.
So I look around, and real quick, I take the sign, and I lean the sign up against the side of the pop-up, and instantly it causes the other side of the pop-up where the water's pooled to pour all over her shoulder.
Ooh.
And I quickly ducked down and kind of snuck off into the bushes looking over my shoulder to see if she'd noticed me, and she didn't.
Yes, well,
until she listens to this podcast, obviously.
Oh, I'm sure she's a huge Cellar Dwellers listener.
Oh, you know it, man.
Yeah, they just love us, I bet.
Yeah. And then another funny thing I thought I wanted to include was
was caught up in the moment again, but then it slipped away. I'm tired of all these changes in my way. Yeah, just a little more, just a little taste.
It's a fast food joint. If you like fast food fried chicken, I guess that's pretty good.
It's like a religious chicken place, though.
Well, I know. Well, so is In-N-Out. And, you know, if I start talking...
it is?
If I start talking about...
No.
I could do an In-N-Out podcast. That's how much I could talk about.
They're all hyper-religious and stuff.
No.
No, Chick-fil-A is like
I misunderstood you.
fundamentalist Christians.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Like the owners?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're big, like, Republican donors and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, maybe Katrina doesn't know that either.
Nah, who cares? That's
Who cares?
very irrelevant
It is very
information.
irrelevant. It's
I
just
don't
an
really
interesting food choice.
Well, fuck, man. She's not from here. That Chick-fil-A is probably normal if you're from there, a place that has it right next to you. It's kind of like me saying, man, I could go for some Burgerville and fucking pay way too much for a super low quality cheeseburger being passed off.
All of the $9 shake, please.
Oh my God. You know, I used to eat there with the Sis. I used to eat there for breakfast before we go to work. Mm-hmm. Don't ever do it. And it's weird how many times I had to do it before I realized I shouldn't do it. But it's like, it's supposedly like, you know, they cook the eggs to order and shit at a fast food joint, which is weird. And it's good, but man, the stomach does not agree with the flavor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Burgerville. Anyway, fast food. Wow, it's tangents. They just keep going. So what's next? What else happened at the Beaver State Fling? You got Paige Pierce. You said you soaked her, and you know, you told me this story. You told me a story before, and you said that you believe you also witnessed her changing at some point.
No, I didn't witness her changing. That's not what I said.
No, I didn't mean like you saw her
I said
naked.
like a couple holes later, I noticed that she was wearing a different shirt.
Okay,
So
okay, my bad.
It
my
leads me to believe that she maybe got wet.
and was like, "What the fuck? Yeah,
What the
I'm already fucking soaked, and now this fucking
Well,
fuck
they got
stick
umbrellas
soaked
and
me."
shit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think she knew it was me, honestly.
I know. Okay, that's great. You know, I love golfing in the rain because we're from here. And you know this too. Everything's cool till it's not cool.
Oh, like when it finally catches up with
As
you,
soon
and
as you
like
can't get-
right before hypothermia, basically.
Right? As soon as you can't, as soon as you're soaked, as soon as you're waterlogged, it's over.
Yeah, but it can last a long time. And
time.
If you've got dry spells and the sun comes out for a second, you're dry again.
Yes. Not just your body. I mean, like, as long as you can keep your hands in the discs dry, you're golden. As soon as you can't, it's like, you're done. You're playing at 50% of what you would normally do.
So they also had me work in, sorry, weird segue, but
No, we're done.
They also had me work in parking and traffic flow and control and
Your
all
profession.
that-
You
all
went
that.
to you went to college for this.
Yeah,
You
you know,
fucking-
it was my first job. I worked at Meadows in parking lot,
You got
so
a
I'm a
master's.
natural.
Yeah.
So at one point, I was
Fuck
working
med school.
in an intersection where I was stopping cars so that people on one side of the street could drive, and on the other side of the street they could putt. So there was three different roads coming at me, and I'm constantly trying to
Sorry
stop
to
cars.
keep doing this to you. Where?
At the intersection of the Genius Hole. No, not the Genius Hole. My bad. Philo's
Albatross.
Albatross, yeah.
This is where so you had eyes on the Albatross green,
Yes.
and you also had eyes on the tee box
Across the street.
across the street,
Yes.
and you were letting players cross the street safely. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
And stopping cars when people were putting or driving.
Okay.
Okay. So at one point, there was some people over. I noticed that the players came up to the green of Philo's Albatross hole, and we're just going to call it that forever.
Oh, for sure.
now.
Fucking
Okay.
A. Fucking
And then-
amazing.
Excuse me. Sorry. I
No,
got lost
I
for a
don't
second.
care, man. Fine. We're golden. Golden like a Jill
where was
Scott
I?
track. Oh, you were talking
Okay,
about
yeah.
directing traffic, stopping
Right,
people
right.
for putting,
Right.
and people teeing off on. God, well, let me get the whole straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're on 6. You're on the hole of 6 and the tee of 7.
Okay.
7's that big ass island.
So I noticed that there's people coming up onto the green, and I didn't see who it was. I don't really care. So I stopped some cars on one side. I stopped some cars on another side. Seems like it's good. I look over, and right as somebody's about to putt, the car like revs its engine and like lurches to try to go around me, and I put my hand up, and I'm all, whoa, 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 is all I said. And right after I said it, I look over, and Ricky Wysocki looked directly at me and said, shh, and shushed me.
Huh.
So that was kind of an interesting thing that happened.
So, you were volunteering, you were helping them putt, and he shushed you.
He shushed me.
I just get in a visual. That's how I roll. Was the car going toward the parking lot or leaving the park?
It was going towards the parking lot.
So they probably didn't see it coming or anything like that.
No.
Because you can kind of see from that green.
Nope. They
Okay.
probably didn't.
Well, you know what? In Wysocki's defense, he's probably just mad every
He
time.
wasn't putting. It was somebody else. He was shushing me for one of his comrades.
Right. Oh, yeah. And I was going to say, in his defense, he's probably always aggro on that green. Everybody is, because they didn't albatross it.
Right. Yeah. Now that we know it can be done.
Yeah, everybody walks over that hill like, God, motherfucking goddamn, fuck, I didn't even come close. Like, if he can do that, I should be able to park it. Oh, man, I wish I would have been able to see that in person.
I saw a dude park it on his second shot, laying right under the basket.
That was you did the albatross run.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. Who?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Nice.
Honestly, he was pretty stoked though.
Did he take
I
the
can tell you
same
that
route? Did he
much.
go to the left of the tree, or did he
Yeah.
pump a hyzer and he went to the
No,
left?
he said he took Philo's route.
Took Philo's route. Damn! I wish I could get some of that, dude.
Yeah,
That would
someday.
be so
We're not
rad,
too
dude.
far off, right?
No, not too far. I don't think it's really about the distance either. It's about that control, right? And that confidence when you're there, when you're standing on the tee box, right? It's different to talk about it or like practice for it somewhere else. But when you're in the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to fucking execute. And to do it on that hole, I've watched that fucking video more than any other disc golf video. Not just because of the shot anymore, just to get the energy, the vibe.
Yeah, the
dude.
footage was good.
The footage is incredible, but yeah, just that energy that's coming off Philo. You can just see it in his throw. I just love it. It's a great video. Great
I
shot.
wanted to point out at the end of the event, Valerie Jenkins was nice enough to thank me for keeping score, which was pretty cool. And her caddy, I think it might be her mom, but I'm not totally sure, was really nice, and she chit-chatted with me a little bit along the way.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't all bad.
Was she fucking? Did she have like 2/5 of tequila? I've heard she wears like that helmet.
Yeah,
now.
she did. She was wearing a tequila helmet.
The helmet with the straws, and then she's got a Camelback,
Right.
full of grain
Just in
alcohol.
case.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
totally.
and she's got a keg backpack with a fucking.
Oh, I helped her do a keg stand in the middle of the round.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
I heard she hooks-
actually held my legs for a little while too.
I heard that she hooks a sprinkler up to that keg, and it just shoots fucking beer all over players.
You got to get a whole bunch of people to stand around in a circle and so it
Whoa. Wait.
around the sprinkler keg.
Oh, yeah, sprinkler keg. You turn that on the tee box, dude. It psychs out your opponents and shit, and people just get soaked with beer.
Yeah.
That's Val's mom, right?
Yeah.
Because
I think that's how they do it at collegiate events.
Do they? I wonder if there's proofs
Probably.
about that.
I don't know.
You know what? I wonder what like actual PGA rules are about drugs and booze and shit. You know what? Here's something interesting, and it's kind of related. If you can hear me out on this,
Okay.
that it's really hard to do sports analysis with golf. So let me explain here. Like, if you watch Tom Brady, you can watch every play he makes along with everyone else's in the same game, right? You can watch the entire team play football every single game.
Sure.
But in golf, you can't follow Tiger Woods for 72 holes. You're only going to get highlights. You can't follow, and that's not just Tiger Woods. You'd need to follow, technically, to get a true analysis, you would need to follow the entire field for the entirety of their round to really get a gauge of why and what.
Right.
Like, who's doing well and who's not. Oh, this guy's making putts. Well, I only watched one round. And that's what's different about golf analysis. Talking about disc golf is just speculation. And it's way different.
No,
It's
totally.
way different than other sports where you can be like, no, Tom Brady made this many passes and these many things happened, and we all saw it in real time. But in golf, you're like, oh, I saw Macbeth putt a couple holes, saw this guy drive a couple holes.
It's all about stretching out the vernacular and using the words, like all the words. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You mean in golf?
Yeah.
Yeah, speculation.
Like, oh, you got to get down the gut. You know, there's so many
exactly.
terms and stuff that you can use, and if
And it's
you
almost
just
like-
space them out and you
because you
use
know
them
what?
sparingly. Make yourself sound like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're right.
All good.
And it's I guess it's also like you're only pointing out the highlights.
Right.
And
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
commenting on the moments, not the players, like you just mentioned. Does that sound about right? Like that's kind of what you were just
For
saying.
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, the ball did this and that happened, and sure, he's a great player. Anyway, next guy, but you're really
always looking for that nice flare at the end of this shot.
well, you're talking about the moments. So anyway, I was mentioning that because when we started doing this podcast, I was thinking we would do some kind of analysis, and then I realized it's bullshit.
Well, there's not much to say.
There's not much to say. You already know everything. You know Eagle McMahon won the Beaver State Fling. Everybody knows that already. Everybody knows all this shit.
Did you say Bieber? Bieber McMahon?
Beaver McMahon won the Beaver Wide Open.
Yeah, man. You seen all those girls around him. It's like rock star status.
I could like talk all day about how much Eagles
They're
kill him.
crying and ripping their underwear off and throwing it at him and stuff. It's crazy, man. He's like a little rock star.
I've been watching videos of that kid, right, for years. I've watched that kid come up just through YouTube, basically. He's
That's
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me at all that he killed it. But my point is, I mean, what am I going to do? Talk about that all day? You already know that shit.
Maybe
we
he
like
can
talking about weird shit.
Maybe he can make enough money off of disc golf to play regular golf.
That should be all of their goals, honestly.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it's a natural progression.
And that's like
just understanding the dynamics of the sport. You know,
Well, we're just shifting gears right there, big time. I mean, the reason I say that is because this is totally we're getting to a completely different subject here, and I want to talk about it. Is that private golf is the future of golf, of all golf. This weird tour circuit, the way disc golf is right now. No, seriously, what was I talking? Oh, I was talking about PDGA. I was talking about tour circuit, the future of golf. See, I told you if you lean back in that chair, you said you don't lean, and there you are. I mean, you can't help it. It's so comfortable. What? What's up?
Are you recording?
Yeah, it's all right.
yeah. Come on in. You're our first
need
guest. Welcome to the Cellar.
No, I was talking about. We were saying we're comparing PDGA, and you made a joke saying that
Eagle could save up his winnings and play ball golf.
See, here's the thing. Here, the cultural difference is this. This is my own personal opinion, and I'm gonna get some backlash for this, but I think both the cultures stink. That's my opinion.
Well, I mean, people stink in general.
Well, disc golf stinks for completely different reasons, and that's what I'm trying to say. The cultures on both sides do kind of stink, and what I think needs to change is it starts with private courses. Private courses where the club preaches and advocates sportsmanship.
Indeed.
That's
I
it.
could
And
stand behind that.
the reason is when you have a public setting, any Joe Schmo can go play disc golf, and they just don't even know the rules, don't care, make it their own. We leave beer bottles here, we thrash T signs, we don't really know anything. But they could be good people if you could just talk to them and motivate them and inspire them to see the sport the way most people. I don't want to say this the wrong way, but you know what I mean. See the sport.
I do.
See the sport as a positive thing and to be a positive member of their course. So in a private setting, you have
build a community of people like-minded that are willing to do the work it takes to
I think that's what I'm trying to say. I think they're out there.
even in a club.
Even dudes who are pieces of shit, I think, have the capacity to
be a part of something bigger.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, and just to play the sport with integrity and to be a good sportsman and to be a good friend to your fellow players, I guess. And I don't know, to keep it positive and inspire and motivate people around you to feel the same way. I think
we're all trying to do that.
Well, we are, but that's what I'm trying to say about public settings. It's just hard. Like picture some dude right now. He's like, just use your imagination. I'm just gonna make something up. He's this crazy white trash motherfucker. He's got like a jacked up Slayer tattoo. He's like a millennial.
Are you talking about Lenny?
This is nobody in particular.
Oh, okay.
I'm making this person up.
thought I knew this guy.
I seriously mean this. Raised in a shitty family. His fucking parents suck. They don't give a fuck about him.
Yeah, he ate dog shit to go to a Slayer show, and I'm not even joking.
He ate dog shit to go to sleep. Yeah, I told him. No,
Do you know the dude I'm talking about?
No, man.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
So
Goddamn.
anyway.
Jesus, man. So this dude, he's like total piece of shit, and all his friends around him, only people in his life who are motivating him are just total pieces of shit. They're like doing meth, and he doesn't know any other life. And then he discovers disc golf, and he's like, "Hey, this is fun. Let's go do this." And he goes out there and he leaves a needle on one hole, and then he fucking takes a shit on a fairway, and then he fucking finds a disc and he just keeps it and doesn't call the dude, and he's just a piece of shit.
And he gets to the fairway of 17, and he's like, "I'm just gonna camp out here," and moves in.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I've seen that. Do you
I
remember
have
that?
too.
Oh my god.
Seen it in Roseburg.
Oh, do you remember the Hood
the river.
At Hood River, I was like, dude, this guy had a fire pit and like a full
on
Taj
the
Mahal
fairway,
on the
yeah.
fairway of 8. I'm all, dude, you need to get the fuck out of here. He's all, fuck you. And I drove up the hill, pulled up right next to a sheriff, and I'm like, get this motherfucker off my fairway. Seriously, this is so bad. But anyway, this guy, this hypothetical dude, my point is this: he could be a super nice guy if he had the right people pushing him in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
You're just inspired and motivated by people who are around you. I think golf culture right now, I think that's what's making it shitty. And on the ball side, it's a rich white boy money privileged culture. It is. Call it what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a professional side.
It doesn't
not
have
the
to
private.
be, but that's what it is.
Well, it's 450 years old, and that's what it's always been. And if you want to mow,
guess so.
if you want to mow, fucking that many acres, you're going to require some money. Like that's a lot of maintenance. So that's like the nature of it. But in disc golf, the culture is just people who don't have a lot of players who don't really understand the sportsmanship side, integrity. I don't know.
Right. They're into the personal part of it where they're constantly trying to get better, and that's a great thing, It's good to push yourself and be out there doing shit.
I'm not just talking about that. I'm not just talking
But
about
it's the
dicks.
same-
I'm talking about the thieves and the vandals.
I
and
am
like
too.
Oh, okay. Like the
Well,
darkest parts of
what,
the culture.
What would those guys be doing? Who would they be stealing from if they weren't out playing disc golf? They'd
For
be
sure.
breaking into cars and,
Yeah, that's
like,
great. That's a great.
Who knows, like, how much worse off they'd be if they hadn't have found disc golf. They might be a bunch of douchebags, but the bright side is they're
Sure.
not.
Nah.
They're not always stealing shit.
I'll take that silver lining. Well, they're stealing my shit apparently.
Yeah,
because
I
that
know,
guy I
that's-
just described is probably who threw my Firebird.
Pretty much.
He's
yeah.
got a winger tattoo, and yeah,
Yeah, and he's got the stereo out of my Volvo.
no, come on, that's way different. This was at a tournament. Whatever.
It's barely different.
It's totally different. Well, I was just trying to say, I think the answer to changing the culture is private golf clubs that promote and preach that type of etiquette. That's what I think. You become a member. That's how ball golf got that way. Because if you want to play in the club, you need to learn how to play by the rules, and you need to learn how to discipline yourself too. Meaning, like, be a hard ass on yourself about the rules as well. Like, treat everybody the same, including yourself. And I don't mean a Nazi. I mean just play the sport and have some integrity. Do the best you can. Mistakes are going to happen. I don't want to make that sound like I'm a fucking Nazi. You know what I'm trying to say.
I do.
Just the basic rules. Being quiet when people are putting, right? Like knowing where you're walking, looking around, knowing when to stop when people are putting. Just nuances. Like
Yeah,
you
it's
won't.
just course etiquette, I think,
Yeah.
is the term you're looking for.
Yeah, I am. That's one part of it, though. There's also a
But they don't.
sportsmanship
Okay,
side.
so here's the thing: is in ball golf, even if you didn't come up playing ball golf and you learned about it later, you know the course etiquette comes through playing it, and the other players will teach you along the way. They'll be like, oh, you need to do this or that, or be here or there or whatever.
Right.
And disc golf's a little bit different until you start playing it like professionally. I don't think
That's what I mean. Yeah. Only when you play a
nobody
sanctioned
tells
event.
you. So
Nobody
you're just
does.
like, you sink a putt and you're like, woo! And you're
Yeah.
clapping your hands. And, there's other people playing out there. They kind of need to concentrate.
Oh, bro.
And
Oh,
it's
bro.
not just you.
First tournament I ever played sanctioned. McMinnville, Wortman Open. Second hole, I drained my putt for birdie. it's weird because now I know tournaments and birdies are priceless. To me back then, I got them all the time. I was playing different golf back then, but I didn't clean out the basket. I didn't know you were supposed
You just
to.
left your disc.
Oh yeah, I went in and I just went nice, and I just stood there, and the dude just looked. That guy who was being a dick about the dirty rotten scoundrels thing. He just stood there with his
Same
arm.
guy.
I won't say his name, but dude, you know who he is. We've played golf. He's a total fucking bitch. You know who he is. Remember the last time we played with him was at Hiders, and when we walked away from him, he had his head in his hands.
Oh,
Because of his
round fell
score,
apart.
and he was telling us how he shouldn't be on a card with us because we're.
Are you talking
AMs.
about Ponytail McGee?
Yeah,
Okay.
total,
Gotcha.
total bitch. And he's just standing there with his arms crossed, looking at me, and I didn't understand. That's what you're talking about, though. He could have been like, "Hey, buddy, here's how you play professional golf,"
Yeah.
and come over and tell me. He didn't. You know who did? Tim K. He came.
Nice.
He came because I was on a card with him my first tournament. He's like, "Oh, you're supposed to clean out the basket." He didn't even really catch that for a couple seconds.
Right.
He's like, "Oh yeah, you're supposed to clean out the basket." Ever since then, I go clean out the fucking basket.
Exactly. Like
How
you don't know
fucking
you don't know
simple it
shit
is,
until
dude.
someone clues you in.
Like, yeah, I read the manual. I don't remember that part. I'm still
Yeah,
new
it's
to
like-
this. Like, come
It's
on.
like who actually read the entire
I did.
driver's manual before to taking the
Oh,
test? And
I
even
read
if
the
you even if you
PDGA
read,
one.
I'm talking about like
Yeah.
just tests in general. You know.
you don't remember everything. It's fresh in your mind, but you can't remember the whole book. Like I did. I read
Exactly,
it. I read
that's
the
what I'm
whole
saying.
PDGA rules.
But you
and
don't
standards thing.
absorb every little.
Not every little detail. No, I did. I missed.
no.
I missed the clean out the basket part. So, that guy was such an asshole. He always was such a bitch. I was on so many cards with that goddamn piece of fucking shit. I hated that. I
like-
used him to play one of my best rounds ever. I was so mad at him. I turned that anger into golf. And that was that day. I lit it up that round. It was like redemption for me after I shot a terrible, I think one of my second worst first rounds.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, it was a bad day. I was playing different golf
It's
back
funny.
then.
My one of my best days ever was also one of my worst days ever in golf. It's like the best round I ever shot and the worst round I ever shot in the same day.
In the same round. Is that what you're saying?
No, like
Oh, okay,
you play 18 twice. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
My worst round ever was 806 Buxton Woods round 1 in the short.
Yeah.
806. Second round, aced 13. And I think I shot a 900 in the second round or something like that. But
Mine, it was at Buxton. It was 868, which maybe isn't
your
quite
lowest
the
is
lowest.
868. You've had a
It's just low.
790.
It's just
I
damn
think.
low for the last couple of years. It's,
Yeah.
it's pretty bad. And then the other one, the flip side was like 8 or 970 or
Oh, I saw that.
something.
Yeah.
That was my best round for sure.
The rounds you shot at Bonneville were really good too. Those were 960s or some shit.
Yeah, it was just rainy. Everybody was being bitches that day.
Oh, I don't think that was a good score.
Just 2 down.
Yeah, that was a good score that
the
day,
day,
though.
yeah.
It would have placed you in like 4th and open.
I think I had the same score at the Cherry Fling. It's
Really?
two down or
What?
something at the end. Yeah.
Oh, that's hideous.
Yeah, but it was the scores were still like 935. It made my rating go up. My
gotcha.
rating went up to 920.
Just goes to show ratings don't mean shit.
No, it's how you're playing at the time.
So you're talking about some other rules. So let me say this story real quick. I've told you this before. I'm at a slosh, and this guy pulls me aside, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm not trying to be a dick, but you stepped on your mini back there. Other dudes are gonna call you out for that. You get a stroke penalty and blah blah blah." And he was like trying to be Mr. Cool Guy, but he was also nice. And I was like, "Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you should do it." I'm like, "Thanks. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing." And I'm like, I was just working really hard to not step too far behind my mini. Because believe it or not, this is like a difficult thing for me because my run-ups are always different. I do a little different Texas two-step every
I do
time.
too.
So the next slosh I'm at Milo, totally different dude. I'm on who cares? Wood chips up in the fucking trees. There's a log
Yeah. Okay.
that goes around it. So if you pump it out and you get out to that field, it's a par 4, right? So
Yeah.
if you banged it from that, it'd be an eagle. So I almost did glow rock, just glide. That was a big golf shot for me even now. Big ass glide out, Annie glide, goes right by the basket, grazes it, and sits right next to it. And right when that happens, I'm like fucking stoked. And this dude's like, "Hey man, you were like way too far behind your mini when you threw that." And the reason I was was because the tournament I just played, the guy
Told you
called
not
me
to
out
step
for
on your meat.
stepping on it.
Yeah.
These guys, here's
They're anal.
they're not just anal, they're pathetic. And here's why. Because I'm a player of integrity. I just threw a beautiful golf shot. And in that moment, his eyes were watching me to see if I'd mess up.
No, right.
He wasn't watching golf and being like, nice golf shot. You did it. You worked hard. You made a great shot. Good for you. Instead, it's like, what's this guy doing wrong? Because that's the only way I'm going to beat him.
Yeah, pretty much.
He is. That guy was a total dick. I know his name.
I have a similar thing that happened about, I told you when I straddled my lie and my feet were too far away from my mini. Even though I was only 2 feet away from the basket and it was just a drop in.
You mean your right foot was ahead of your actual lie?
No, it wasn't ahead of it.
Do you know what I'm
to
saying?
To the right and to the left. And I had the mini was right in front of me. And I did not know.
You didn't put your foot right behind the mini?
Right behind
Oh,
it.
you have to, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that at the time.
Oh, it was a long time ago?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
But some dude's all, hey, man, you need to put your foot behind that. We're not going to call you out, but just so you know. And that's, everyone
Gotcha.
deserves the consideration. I'm just agreeing with you.
No, I got you.
Maybe that was a little non sequitur, but
No, it wasn't. I was just going off. It was actually right on point. You're right on subject. Yeah.
sweet.
No, it's true. Like somebody
That
gave
happens every once in a while.
Yeah, somebody gave you the courtesy of saying, "Hey, you're learning the sport. This is how you do it." And you're like, "Cool," and you've done it right ever since.
Yeah.
You didn't have to be an asshole about it.
And that Seth dude, that cool
Seaman?
guy, yeah, that comes to
yeah.
some of our stuff.
Did he volunteer again?
The first time, no.
Oh, okay. He put those
I think
wood chips
he was
in.
playing. He was playing the event.
Oh yeah, he was. He
was
got
in
in an
AM.
AM. That's right. Okay.
I didn't see how he finished, but anyway.
Sorry.
The first time I played with him, he came up during my round and was like, hey, just so you know, you stepped past your disc. It was actually on Philo's hole. Like, I ran up on my second shot. And I guess
okay.
he's like, you were like a foot past your disc. So watch out for that. And at first, I thought he was just kind of being anal. And then I realized he was really nice. And he was just trying to be cool.
Yeah, he's just trying to show you the rules.
Yeah.
Because we all play by them.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always been one of those guys that's like, rules aren't for me, though.
I don't follow nobody's rules, not even my own.
They're meant to be broken.
No. There are certain places where rules are great, like when you're driving, or like if you're an electrician,
For sure.
or if you're playing a sport.
Like
you
golf.
have to be. If it's not governed, it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
It really doesn't. Like as soon as it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. What makes it matter is that we all follow this same playbook. Other shit I wanted to talk about, but I won't. I wanted to say this about this podcast. So when we started the Cellar Dwellers podcast, I wanted to talk about disc golf. And like we said in this episode, we have had like no responses, no replies. And that's okay. I'm not looking for praise, but I'm just looking for some feedback.
Anything.
Like anything. Like you guys suck, or like I said, like you said that guy's name wrong, or you got your facts fucked up on this or whatever, but nothing. So sadly, I think, I know we're going to take this podcast down to a monthly disc golf podcast.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, James and me are working on a new podcast that we're going to do starting this fall, which is about music and food and sports and stuff about the Pacific Northwest and the Columbia River Gorge.
It's mostly just about stuff that we give a shit about.
Yeah, it'll be mostly about stuff we give a shit about. And we'll still do the Cellar Dwellers podcast and talk about disc golf. But I'm just going to be totally honest with you. Anybody who's been listening to this. My name is Nick. This is our podcast. And I'm telling you straight up, disc golf is boring as fuck to talk about. Like, I have cobwebs hanging off my beard right now that are attached to my microphone. I'm just being honest. I love disc golf. But talking about it, I'm like aging like 20 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't mention how long your beard has gotten since we've been sitting here waiting for some sort of feedback.
I love disc golf and I love talking about it, but kind of like what I said about, like, you can't get real sports analysis with golf. It's fucking impossible.
Call you Grip Van Winkle.
Do that. I need a new handle. John Van Jacksteenson 10 Lindvilleberg 10 is not going over well.
No, it looks shitty on ZipRecruiter when you're signing up for a job.
Oh, but anyway, with our podcast we're doing this fall, we're going to have some fucking cool local bands and shit in here. I'm playing music again. Have Fast is back. We're going to have like live music on our show from local bands in the Gorge. We're going to have local chefs. We're going to be talking about food, but funny shit. Not like fucking recipes, but like why people like to cook naked and why some people like to cook with a full rager. Also going to like talk about sports, mostly Seahawks. So if you don't like football, tough shit, or just we'll have it on our thing so you can choose not to listen to sports. But anyway, that's what we're doing. Right?
Yeah. So if you like to listen to sports naked and wait, what did you just say?
You could cook breakfast naked while you're watching the game.
Cooking naked. That's what you said. Yeah. Okay, I'm following you now.
That's good. Disc golf's just blowing the shit out of me. I did have one other thing to say. Oh, I got my Firebird back.
Singing up on Bluebird Hill. Call me a whining boy if you will. Born where the sun don't shine and I don't deny my name. Whining boy, ain't that a shame? Thought I heard that Cassie whistle moaning sweet and low. Place to go. So many roads I tell you, so many roads I know. All I want is one to take me home. Thought I heard the jug band play. From over the far side of the hill, down where the sun don't shine, lonely when I call your name. Whining boy, ain't that a shame? The wind inside, the wind outside, tangled in the window blinds. Tell me why you treat me so kind. Down where the sun don't shine, lonely when I call your name. Whining boy, ain't that a shame? So many roads I tell you, so many roads I know. All I want is one to take me home. so